What's going on, family? What's going on, family? How's everybody doing today? Peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Me clear peace. Me accelerate chorus. Dragon activation today. I feel one coming through today for the people. Another dragon activation today. Gloresurem. Me clearet sukumbarax. If anybody's DM me about dragon stuff, I don't respond back to the dragon DMs. If you want to talk to me, just book a call. I don't respond to people asking to learn dragon language through DM. That's not how I would get down. Okay, I don't want to have a long conversation about it in DM. That's not how we work. Clarets de Cores. Now, this should be a day of rest, a time of rest for the people of Chosen. The DNA, the bloodline is going to speak. And if you feel like your body is changing, that's because it is. Other people aren't changing, but you are. But you can't talk about this with anybody, can you now? Many of us are starting to be around people and reading their lives, not even being able to know them, we just know. Earlier today, there was a guy that reached across me, like I was sitting down, and I instantly knew he was a pedophile. I'm like, oh shit, and this energy was bugging me out. I had to play Reverse and Dark Forces on, and then I had to leave. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is a time of rest for the people, though, because your abilities are beginning to come online. So today I have another dragon activation coming through that I'm going to share with the people. Okay. Also, I'm going to get into the topic of what I was going to talk about with the women and the children and the fathers and the daughters. We'll talk about that maybe. I don't think maybe this is the video for it, but we'll see. Why do you feel every syllable? Because it is activating. It is unlocking key codes inside of the physical body. Boom, boom, boom. Vlistu kumbirix kiret solarem cum tarasurem. Vlarstu kumbiri cleracuram bostillerin sorekiret stukumbarax the kirem. Vlorem stukir solarem cum tarax su fericlerem sukir xirem su colorasurem. Vlarstu kumbiri clerem bostilleri kiret surem. Bombirix stu farasularem cum direc clerem sucumbarax the kirix. Vlaricorem, borins the kirix, stucolorasorem, vlarstu cumburix, suriferiferem, chlorem, bostileris, kirix. Boom, 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 my ram. Yeah, family. You know, ships are all outside. We can see the full moon out there. We can see all the chemtrails around it. Man, things are changing, and I hope you're getting ready. Many of you are not hungry like you used to be. It's because your body's asking for more energy to be directed into your activation. That's why you're not hungry like that. You need all the energy you can get. One meal, if that, a day. All you need is one meal. All you need is one meal. Some of us even eat just because it's habit. I do that sometimes. You know, like, why was I just eating just to eat? I'm not even hungry. That happens to a lot of us because we have the habit of eating. We've been taught how to eat, not been taught how to sustain energy without food. But we're moving to that time where we can actually sustain our energy, muscle growth, function, higher senses without food. Clearem stukumbarax. Mi clearem. You know, the chosen are chosen to do something as well. So if your gifts are coming online, they're coming online to be able to use them for your activation or others. That's why they're coming online. So it's best to be able to use them so you can be utilized in our activation to assist humanity in this rise. Be able to use those things. Don't just keep them to yourself. What can your gifts do for humanity? This is why you're getting them. You're not getting them to hide them. You know what I'm saying? You're getting them to share them. Remember that. Chlorem. Bisto karam solarem sukim berix tekirem. Also, a lot of these things that we focus on, you know, a lot of the bickering that we do, a lot of the back and forth that we do, I do not feel like that's going to happen when we rise. I feel like we'll know exactly what our roles truly are. I feel like that we won't have to be taught a lot of things because technically it's already inside of us anyway. I feel like we just know what to do. I think a lot of the talk that we have is because we just don't know what to do. So we talk about a lot of things, talk about the problem because we don't know how to fix it. But when our activations come through, we'll begin to receive ancient information on how to fix ourselves because we are broken right now. You see, we are broken. But we are fixing ourselves. Our bodies are coming online and we are fixing ourselves. Chlorem stucambarax. So be very careful of individuals who throw you off your mission as well. Be very careful. Everybody that you move in frequency with these days on a personal tip should be somebody on the higher frequency like you. Because if they're not on the higher frequency, they will pull you down. Greatly will pull you down. Pull us down. Somebody said, will the solar flash give us powers? I'll tell you about a premonition that I got. It was a vision. It was like a final destination type of thing. And I got a couple of them. And one, I'm driving in the car. I think I'm talking about Skittles and the fact that Skittles have cyanide in them. And then boom, all of a sudden, the earth gets hit with this light. I think it was like a bluish white light, and it hits the planet. And it felt like the person in the back was screaming, but I was sitting here just bracing myself, just dealing with whatever was happening. And then I woke up. And that was the most realistic dream I ever got in my life. And then I had another one where I'm in my living room and the solar flares are hitting the planet and we can actually see them hitting the planet, you know? And we just begin to remember that we can move things with our mind because really it's a remembrance of what your body can already do and your DNA saying, oh yeah, I can control the matrix if I want to. And we remembered that we could do that, and we started to do that. And piece by piece, as they're telling us to go inside the house, we are going outside the house. Now, when I look outside the house, people are laying in the streets dead, but we're outside soaking in all the frequency, you see? Because certain people are going to get it, and certain people, it's not their experience. You see? Do you see? Pressure. Sometimes it's pressure, you know? Yeah, but yeah, somebody says it hurts. For some people, it will hurt. There's a lot of information you're going to be getting about yourself. And sometimes when you're still, you know, tied to emotions, it's going to hurt mentally, physically, and all the above because you're not ready to accept everything you must accept in order to change. I was going to do a video about a question that we ask ourselves, or if we can ask ourselves this question. And this question is, if everything that you know in your reality, if you learn that it's not real, if all the books weren't real, if all the shows weren't real, if all the information about the sun and the moon isn't real, are you willing to accept it so you can grow? Now, most people are not. This is why they don't grow in the smaller aspects of life. But the people who are able to throw out anything they've ever learned to go where they have to go are the ones who are going to get the full activation. Because when you get the full activation, you're going to find so much about yourself out. Some are not going to be able to take that because they're emotions. Do you see? Because your emotions. Blos tu kirix. Klapion tu convirix su ferem. Lerms te kirets te kirem bostilerim karasu. Vilium cum direts te kirets. Capatum cum firix su ferem. Vlems tu cumbare clerets tu cum birix cilerim cum dere carasorum cum dixileri caraforum. Volorin secirem. Vloms tu cum bir calarasorum. Vorin kirix stu ferem. Clapatum cum virix stu feracleram du cicaveris celerem cum daraxu. Erem. And it's like, think about like you're playing video games, Super Mario, Sonic, whatever you got to do. And in order to get through this level, you have to do these incredible things. This is your life. This is your life. People say, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. You realize that you don't have to learn anything anymore. You're not going to have to soon. If you have something in you, it's going to come out of you. The ways that I'm telling you on these videos are the ways to bring it out of you. And some are already having it come through them. They really are. But like I said, it's not that many of us out here. It's many trying to be like us. It's not that many of us out here. That's another reading I got. It's not that many. But really, when we find out what we are and we do what we have to do, there won't need to be that many either, because the few are going to change the world just like that. The few are going to change the world. Mokorex storem, vloms to karasu, Flavium cum derix, siret su cum borix, silerium cum dara, chloram sulfurits, miclum bercerem, bluptu cum borix, si claret sulforem, vlamdu cire carasu, florem, sticirem, vlamdu cirix suclerem sucum virix stu, leret stucorem, barvum berix sirits. Florum gumdirix silere carasu, barit, kirin, balcorem, sulfuraferem, miclarasu. For real, The topic about the being restored back to the feminine as well, it starts with the feminine. She's the leader in the household for the children at first. And then he steps in. But he can't step in properly unless she does her job first, because she is the first teacher and the father is the first love. Now, they do love their mother. They need their mother. They love their mother. But the father is the first love for the daughter. And we have a problem in our society of women wanting to be like men because they're tricked into being masculine. But that's not proper balance, now is it? Because the way the nature works, when you women realize what it is your true power, you realize that your feminine power can be just as strong, if not stronger, than our masculine. But society tricks you. They even compensate you not to have the man in the house. What's that, WIC? What's that, welfare, all that stuff? They compensate you because they know that if you're imbalanced, the children will be affected. If you're imbalanced. You see? But the mother is the first teacher. She is the most important component in the beginning because she sets the foundation. And the first 7 years of a child's development make the adult. So if the mother is not doing her job for those 7 years because she's trying to do the job of a man, then what happens to the children? And in ancient ways, the mother was the most important part in the household. She was the most important part. Do you see? If the children are not properly taught, what are we going to do? How can the father do his job? It's a wild thing out here. A lot of broken households out here. But we're the ones who are going to learn this information to teach our children not to make the same mistakes that we made. Because we didn't know. Now that we know, we must do better. Women must let the men be in the life of the child as well. The way you feel about the man has nothing to do with how the child feels about the man. And a lot of times I see, because the woman is angry at the man and she's compensated to take him to court, to send him to jail. She has power over him because the system bonds with her to make his life hell if she wanted it to be, turning him to somewhat of a slave for the child. So he can't love the child fully because he is told to do it when it's his natural impulse. But now because he's told to do it by a system who's always attacked him, she uses her anger towards him to punish him. It's a wild thing. And the child watches that. Because the man is the one that instills discipline and structure in that child. But if she doesn't let him, then what happens to the child? She creates another version of herself. I've seen it too many times. The daughter is trying to be happy, and the mother pulls her back down because she is not happy. Do you see? And that has got to stop. Man, I'm telling you, it affects the relationship with the child and the father. Because what I've seen is the mother let the child do what they ever want to do when they're raising them by themselves. They're out there trying to be the man. But it doesn't feel good to try to be the man, does it? Working is not natural to you, is it? Which is why you get sicker, which is why you age faster, because you're not in balance. You see? And then society tells you you don't have to work on yourself in your 20s. All you have to do is be beautiful. No character, no understanding of self, no introspection, because you're just given things. But what happens in your 30s? Because you believe society and you didn't read the books. You didn't read the ISIS papers because you were told you didn't have to read. You got whatever you wanted. You could create an OnlyFans and make all the money, but you thought that was success, but it's not. Because you're selling something that's temporary, your beauty. But if you honed your mind, you would build your legacy. Because if you honed your mind, you would choose a better man and you would know what to look for. Now, if you don't have a father or didn't have a father in your life, it is best to learn what a masculine is supposed to be. So when you begin to attract a real masculine, you don't buck at him or reject him because he's just trying to be your leader. But if you've never seen a masculine and he's trying to instruct you, because a real masculine teaches you as well. And he also listens to your intuition, which is your superpower. His main advisor, his most important piece on the chessboard. How many moons does a queen have on the chessboard? Basically all of them besides the knight, right? The most important piece. But when she's not in balance, then what? We're looking at it right now in society, aren't we now? We're looking at it. We're looking at it. And fathers, you got to be in the kids' lives. But I know how it's difficult sometimes when she really makes it difficult for you. I get it. And then if you're forced to do it, you don't like it, but you're trying to do the best you can. And then if you're told to do it, and then what's going to happen then? You're forced, and then you're told. You're forced by the court, and then you're told by her. But if you disengage, you're the bad guy. It's wild. Man. But you know what? The great thing about this is that when we get our inner wisdom back, when we begin to tap into ourselves and know who we are and see these things that we once knew, we're going to get right back online and nobody will be able to stop us. They're barely able to stop us now in our ignorant state. What happens when we rise? Game over. And then we'll see what time it is and how good we had it and how good we were and how good we feel when we're in balance. Because it's a feeling when you're balanced that you feel on a daily basis. You don't anger quickly. You don't stress quickly. You don't fear anything because you're in balance. And once upon a time, we were in balance with the cosmos. And we're getting back to that. You see? Somebody said I'm leaving my kid be. Yeah, and listen, it's difficult to talk to these kids sometimes. It's difficult. I got 4. It's difficult. But the way I look at my children as they are versions of myself, and I can speak to each version of myself as if I wanted to hear it. So it does not let me ease up on them. Because the parent's job is to prepare their children for the world. And what I see is the parents thinking they're trying to protect their children you're actually hurting them by not teaching them what it is. You're hurting them. You're hurting them. You learn, you learn about yourself through the kids. You learn about yourself through the kids. You know? It's wild. It's wild. But I get it. I get it on both sides, you know? Sometimes a female will choose a man who is not worthy of her because she's never even seen a real man in her life. And she's never learned anything about how real men should be, or wasn't surrounded with other examples of what real men were. And she chooses the wrong one and then has a baby by him. It's kind of a setup. You got set up right there, because it's very difficult for a man who does not have a bloodline connection to that young male or female to take care of him. It's like paying another man's bill. So choose wisely, because every kid you have, your options go down. And I mean drastically, especially if you want a man of stature, a certain income status, information. The more information we know, the more we know what not to deal with. So be very careful who you have children with, ladies, because you stuck with them when you do. The man could just dip if you wanted to. You stuck with him. You know? What do you say? I'm officially healed. What are you talking about? Yeah. It's really serious out here, though. We got to stop bickering and fighting each other. We just got to have real talks with each other. No arguing, no debating. Just listen to me. I'm going to listen to you. Take it in, even if it doesn't feel good, and hopefully you'll grow from it. But if you don't, you don't. I'm not scrolling up. You've been saying this a lot. I'm not scrolling up, bro. You're throwing me off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so at the end of the day, women, if you do not have a father in your life, please learn what a man is supposed to be. Please learn what a man's supposed to be. Because if you don't know what he's supposed to be, you will reject him and you will hurt yourself by doing it. A lot of you have rejected really good men because you didn't know he was just trying to be a man. You wanted some ratchetness. You wanted some drama. But he brought stability. And you said he was boring, corny, square, whatever it is, because you've been told that a certain man is what's going to bring you excitement. But you realize excitement is going home and not having to go to work. I have a thing, right? If I'm with a woman, I want y'all to catch this one, fellas and females, right? Because I was just explaining this to my son's friend. If I'm with a woman, she does not work. No. Nope. The reason why is, how can you help me or help us build our empire when you're giving your best energy outside of the house to another man and to help fulfill his future? If you go to work, who created that job? Right? Who created the job? Just think about whoever you call your boss. I hate the word boss as well. I don't like the word boss. It's like giving somebody power over you. I don't do that boss stuff, right? Don't call me boss unless you're my wife. And I'll call you boss too. But don't be going to a job call. Listen, I'm not with that. So I'm like, listen, she don't work. Because if I can't provide for her, right? Can't take care of her without her having to work, then I shouldn't have her. If I can't take care of a woman, I shouldn't have them. That's my mindset. Until I can. My mindset. Right? You take it and run with it. You take it and stay with it. But women shouldn't be working. And when we get back to what we are, you won't have to. All this, I got to get my bag stuff. How you look at 65. Single. How you look at 40. single, or if you're the masculine in the household, the man is going to be feminine, because it talks about in the way of the superior man, there's balance in all ways, and the universe tries to balance itself. So if you're a feminine and you're a masculine feminine, your guy is going to naturally be feminine. If you're a feminine masculine, he's going to be a masculine feminine. That's what it's going to be. It's going to balance out. Can't be two masculines in the same house. There's too much friction there. You see? And there's a lot of feminine masculines out here. A lot. I see them all the time. So feeble, soft, walk with their heads down, their shoulders slumped forward. No real masculines out here. Not a lot. Not a lot. So please, females, be sure to choose correctly. Because once you pop out another man's seed, or even let that man implant his seed inside of you, it goes directly to your brains forever. Which is why some females find it difficult to submit to a man. You know what the secret behind that? Because of all the other men who have implanted their sperm into your brain. So now you're confused. Maybe you're imbalanced. A lot of females are imbalanced as well. And this is not bashing women. This is telling the truth. This is telling you like simple body science, biology, baby. Biology. When he puts his seed in you, your brain, forever. So think about how many guys you've been with, and think about how many times you let him bust in you. Into your brain. Let's chat quiet. Let's chat quiet today. And fellas, whenever you're with a female, you also take on her energy and all of her partners as well. That's why it's very, 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 very important to watch who you're rocking with. I wish I would have known this when I was younger, type stuff. I wish I would have known this when I was a young man. For real. You know? If you're doing that with somebody who is also not on your energy, if you're having babies with somebody, let's really get into it, right? So, when we have children, we must really look at the person we're having a child with. Look at their habits. Look at their mannerisms. Look at their family. And think, do I want to share myself with this bloodline here? Do I want to share my DNA to create a child with this person here? Because if we start to think those things, will we have had the children that we have right now? And if we begin to think those things, because when you're raising a child, you're not just warring with the lower aspects of yourself. Even if you're not with the person that you're having a child with, you're still warring with them to a degree, because the lower aspects of themselves are in the child as well. Right? So that means that you still didn't get rid of that person. So it's best to just make sure you're with the right person from the jump, because you're going to have to deal with that aspect of that person forever. Forever. And looking at certain families, I would never want to share my gene pool with that, especially if you are of a certain ilk, bloodline. Because some of us have a specific type of bloodline that we rather not dilute. Because when you do mix it with a certain bloodline that is a little bit corrupted to a degree, diluting your genes. This is why they said in Egypt, or Kemet, or Nubia, that such and such married their sister. Now, I'm not saying to do this. I'm just speaking on what they did, right? They were doing it to keep their bloodline pure. I understand. And if we were in that mindset, who knows? But we're not in that mindset. I'm not saying that. I'm just That's a lot of programming to break away from somebody right there. A lot of programming right there on that one, right? So I'm not going to get into that because people really will get emotional about that one. But yeah, be careful who you mix your gene pool with. Very important. Very important. Do you want your children to have those ankles? Do you want your children to have those legs? Do you want your children to have those hips? Do you want your children to have those habits, mannerisms, and addictions to war with? Because if the person that's having the child has the habit before they have that child, the probability of that child having the habit is 50-50. So if you're both thieves, guess what? Your child will definitely be a thief if you have that child before you break the habit of stealing. And children that steal they have it and they don't even know why they do it. They start young too. But if you stole and you didn't break it before you had that child, your child's probably going to be stealing too. The sins of the father and the mother shall pass to the child. And listen, if you don't know what to teach your children, teach yourself. That's one of the most unselfish things you could ever do for your child. If you don't want to teach them, teach you, so you will want to teach them. Because when you do teach yourself, you will want to teach them. You will. You just don't want to do it now because in a way, you're kind of the child too. Healing the child of you first before you heal the child that came out of you or that you made. You got to heal that child first. Once you heal that child, it will come natural to want to heal your children or to teach them. You won't be able to help it. That's real talk. I can see myself before I came into knowledge, how I was talking to my children, and I can see myself after I came into knowledge. And I wish they didn't see the transition because it was a little bit of a shock to them. So be who you are before you have them, or who you're going to be, or educate yourself, because your children are being lied to at school all day long if they're going. They're being lied to all day. So you got to counteract that. Like if your child comes back from history, really explain what history is. Simplistic terms. Listen, do you know that word history? That's his story. The child, like, what? His story? You're right, that is his story, right? And look, mystery, my story. Would you like to learn your story? They'd be like, I want to learn my story. If that's a lie, I want to learn my story. Right? So, please, teach them after you teach you. And they'll be difficult to teach sometimes too, because you're teaching the formal aspects of yourself that may have not wanted to learn as well. Right? So be patient with them and don't give up on them, because you would wish somebody didn't give up on you once they try to teach you. So don't give up on them. And they'll because listen, they have way more than what we had. You don't know who you would be if you had these cell phones at their age. You don't know. These video games, all this technology that has a touch of a button and you touch the whole world, all this access, you don't know who you would be. Actually, you do, because you're looking at them right there. You're looking at them right there. You do know who you would be, because they're them. Come and think about it. You see? So, I'm losing my voice here. So I'm going to end this video because I'm losing my voice. I'm about to take a nap. We need naps in our ascension process, family. Because I need to be by the water to cool my fire. That's why I got to be by the water so much. It cools my inner fire to be by bodies of water. See? Kids don't do that no more. I used to kick my kids out the house. Don't come back. Don't come back until 3 hours. Here's some water. I'm going to sit on the porch. Go outside. And don't come back. What do we do? What do we do? We break the cycle by breaking the cycle inside of ourselves first. We break the cycle by breaking the cycle into things inside of ourselves first, by doing introspection, looking in ourselves, asking ourselves difficult questions, being willing to change it without feeling emotional about it. That's how we break the cycle. Simple as that. All right? I'm going to get up out of here. I love y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all soon. Peace.